All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Serious Angler Podcast, where we talk about everything under the sun, mostly about bass fishing, but most of all, we have a good time doing it. We're back with the Bassin Captain, Mr. Andy Full. And as always, I'm your host, Bailey Egbrett. Andy, we're actually almost on time today.
Yeah, only 2 minutes past 8. I mean, I would call that pretty good.
Usually it's 8:04, 8:05. We already got Michael Bradley in the
8:07.
comments. Yeah. It's like, is it 8-ish yet? Yeah, it's usually, we probably should refrain from saying we're going live at 8 p.m. Eastern because it's literally, to Michael's point, it's 8-ish.
Yeah, we
It's
should
never
put
8.
right on there 8-ish Eastern.
We never get to, because either Andy or myself or the guest that we're having on or are talking about something offline. It always happens when we start rambling. And we're like, oh crap, 8:02. We should probably go live now.
8:05. Yeah. Oh yeah, we gotta go.
Or it's the notification from StreamYard that says, hey, Facebook is going to remove your live stream if you don't like the whole notification deal. And we're like, oh yeah, we should probably do that live thing we're supposed to be doing. But yeah. Yeah, Dale Reed says, yeah, when notification came, I thought, nah, it won't be on yet. And he's right.
Straight facts. So straight facts.
I love how the regulars know us. You know, they're like, 8:05, they're not started yet.
Speaking of regulars, I appreciate everyone who tunes in enough to know that we start at 8-ish. Right. So y'all rock.
That's right. We do have one listener that isn't my parents. Nice.
Yes.
Mission success. We can quit it now. There we go.
Oh yeah. We've made it. We've made it big time.
Something like that, I guess you could say so. Well, we got a few things to get into, but we have an awesome show today. We got one of the, I guess I would call him one of the show regulars, if you will. He's been on, honestly, throughout the past 5 years of Serious Angler, Mr. Josh Bertrand joining. And then Justin Lucas as well. Two BPT boys, two BPT hammers joining the show. And we're going to start out here with Josh in a few minutes. And then Justin's actually getting settled in a hotel and everything. And he's going to hop on here. But we got a few things before we bring Josh here on the show. One thing we got to call out. I don't know what it is, Andy, but our what do you call it? Our train of anglers that we've scheduled that win events, if that makes any sense. We scheduled Bryant Smith. Literally, I called him as he's driving to the U.S. Open to schedule him on a show for the coming weeks. And then as a joke, I said, just go win the dang thing. And then we have more to talk about. Well, then lo and behold, Bryant Smith wins the dang U.S. Open. So it's been what? Alton Jones Jr., I think, was one. It was Jake Whitaker back when he won Chicken.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Hamner called his shot on, and granted, Hamner called his shot on like
on everyone's show. But yeah.
But like, there's a train here. So I think, hey, you gotta get on the show if you're gonna win the next event. That's what's gonna happen now. Bertrand and Lucas are gonna win the first couple events in 25.
That'd be awesome.
It's guaranteed. But yeah, shout out to our boy Bryant Smith. Gonna be a fun episode. He went on Business from the Bass Boat and kind of get some cool perspectives of like what does winning the U.S. Open do for you as a pro angler in your career. Some cool perspectives from like a financial standpoint and the professional standpoint beyond just how'd you win. They talked about that too, but great episode on Business from the Bass Boat. You guys should go check that out with Deacon and what he's done over there. Links to Business from the Bass Boat, of course, down below. But real fast too, the new Open schedule for 2025 was dropped today. Definitely pretty interesting, very diverse, a lot of new locations. Several, I should say, actually, that I've never heard before. So it's we dropped a little breaking news segment on that today. You guys can go check that out if you'd like. But Deacon is actually going to do a full breakdown of that Open schedule for next week's Business from the Bass Boat. So you guys can check that out there. But curious your input on the schedule if you haven't seen it yet. We can always go through that here in the outro today. But if you have seen it, let me know down in the comments here right now if you guys think of the schedule. And then the last thing, Andy, before we get Josh here, is I gotta give my boy a shout out. My boy Drew Gregory.
The power poles, huh?
Dude. Okay, I'm gonna pull these up. We always joked about this. Okay. And I've always told the people at Minn Kota, I'm like, you need to make a talent concept for kayaks. Well, Drew just said, screw it. I'm going to go actually add some freaking power poles to my kayak. And he added legitimate power poles to his freaking kayak. And it's not like a ploy. It's not like an April Fool's. I had an idea to do this as a April Fool's. No, the dude went and just did it. And it's like, it is legit. They actually work. They are functional. And like, the dude's flying with the thing.
Dude, he's on pad.
He's moving too. He's got the motor on there and everything. It was awesome. I sent it to a couple buddies, and they're like, "Dang, you kayak guys are trying to everything to be like a bass boat, aren't you?" It was so funny, man. But I applaud Drew because he never fails to come up with something new, thinking outside the box, and it's
it's legit. That's awesome.
Hopefully, what this does is this shakes some things up, and some brands start, because Power Poles had the only thing for a kayak anchor. Like they had the I think it's the micro pole. Yeah. Hopefully now some other brands will be like, oh, there could be some other options beyond this thing now. So hopefully we'll see what happens. Either way, got to shout out my boy Drew, super cool. And when I saw that, I'm like, there's no freaking way he actually did this. So I had to bring it up.
No, it's Drew. He did it.
It's Drew. Yeah. No shit. But shout out to Drew. But, all right, without further ado, I'll keep rambling here because that thing was actually pretty freaking cool. Let's bring on our pal, Mr. Josh Bertrand. What's going on, dude?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Good evening.
You trying to get in a kayak with some power poles?
I cracked one kayak joke before we started. I was obviously kidding, dude, but no, those look pretty sweet, and that thing looked like it was moving, dude. That's a fish catching machine, man.
Josh was like, I'm just gonna go 70 in my nitro. You can have fun with your kayak.
It's so roomy, man. How can you give that up, right? Like it's such a roomy platform, but I actually kayak fished a lot when I was younger, dude. I really did.
Did you really?
Yep. Not out of a cool kayak or anything like that, but I pond hopped and lake hopped and river hopped in upstate New Hampshire out of a kayak from when I was probably 13 to 18 years old. I did a ton of it on my summer vacations.
Heck yeah, awesome. Dude. It's definitely obviously come a long way. That's for dang sure. Almost to a point where honestly you can call them mini bass boats.
Dude, I almost, you know what? It's not even fair for me to even compare that to what you guys do. I mean, it's not even in the same realm. So I take that back because it is like, it's legit what you guys are doing. But I had fun with it anyways, for sure. And I miss those times too.
Dude, I'm feeling it full-fledged. Kind of, I don't want to even try to compare myself in the slightest to what you guys are doing, especially with this whole arms race right now. But like, few years back, I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to get a fish finder on my kayak that's bigger than 10 inches. That's just excessive. And here I am with a 13-inch screen on my kayak. And I'm like, here I am. I'll never get a trailer for my kayak. If I get that, I'll get a trailer for a boat. Well, here I am. I'm talking with a person about a trailer for a kayak. And it's just like, you keep saying, you're like, oh, there's no way it's going to keep advancing. And here we are. We are advancing. And now there's freaking legitimate power poles on a kayak. Drew, I think, has opened another window for some more shenanigans here to advance some tech, at least on the kayak side of things. But it's crazy what's happening on the boat side, man.
I mean, honestly, it's probably not even just our world, right? I mean, it's not just the fishing world. It's the whole world is evolving like this. So, I mean, yeah, it's if you take a picture of Josh at 14 on this kayak compared to Bailey now on your kayak, it's not the same thing. And yeah, it's the whole world is evolving faster than any of us probably ever would have expected. That's for sure, dude.
Yeah. Well, and then there's the cliche saying, right, that the fishing industry is always 10 years behind every other industry at least. And so it's like, what else is coming? You know,
that's scary.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like we're hitting and feel free to disagree or add on top of this, but I feel like right now, at least this past year has been like, in that curve we're talking about, we're ramping up an innovation. I feel like it was an accelerated point of that curve right with this past year in regards to technology, mounts, things that are on the horizon that are already coming out. I felt like at least taking out like tournaments and rules and such aside, but like what's actually available that you could use on the water. Like I feel like we haven't even untapped what saltwater boats have access to.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on over there. I really don't. Like the kayak world, at least it's freshwater, so I'm tied in enough to be paying attention and I'm following what that world is like. But yeah, saltwater deal is totally different, and that's where we got Live Scope from, right? Was from saltwater. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, dude. They spend some bucks over there. They don't hold back on investing money into catching fish. So yeah, it's probably pretty nuts.
Yeah, dude, there was this one thing. So with work, one of our new clients at Gunpowder is Seakeeper. I don't know have you heard of Seakeeper before?
Is that the company that makes the boat stabilizer that keeps it from rocking?
Yeah. So they have Seakeeper for folks that don't know. Yeah, like Josh mentioned, like if a boat's rocking while you're stationary, it basically makes it so there's no rocking whatsoever. And then they also have a Seakeeper ride, which is like when you're actually like driving, it stabilizes your boat like while you're actually drive. It's crazy.
So you don't feel the impacts from the waves?
You guys to get them on bass boats.
Yikes, that's cool, dude.
It's crazy to think about that stuff, and it's like, man, like the freshwater world. It feels like there's like levels to this. It feels like saltwater's got. I mean, I've seen. I remember who was. I think it was Trent Palmer was talking about this technology they have for like offshore marlin fishing, where it's like, I want to say it's Oculus or something like that. Basically, this insanely expensive technology that's worth. The technology itself's worth like 2 bass boats. That's like a mile circumference, like 360, can like basically pin out. There's marlin.
Wow.
Directly.
So there you go, dude. They're so far ahead of us as far as technology goes. Wow.
It's nutty, but we can go down that rabbit hole for hours and hours. But I would love to talk about the U.S. Open, man, because obviously you were there. You were in the top 10. You had a great event. Kind of give a little lowdown on how it went for you from start to finish.
Yeah, we were talking when I was at Lake Mead, and I was trying to get you out there for that. And maybe I'll get you out for the U.S. Open too, man. But it's a pretty special event. You know, a lot of people are familiar with it. It's for out west. It's the biggest event, you know, that we have. It's been a big deal for. Boy, I should know when they had the first U.S. Open, but I think there's been over 40 of them. And it's if you look at the history of the tournament, like it's the tournament out west. But even countrywide, like there aren't too many tournaments where, you know, anyone can sign up and have a chance to win over 150 grand for first, and get their names on that trophy. So it's a big deal. I look forward to it more than any other tournament all year long. And, you know, it was this year. It was just like any other year as far as it got really, really tough at the end. The weights were really good. You know, we've had it at Mojave for 3 years now. It was at Lake Mead originally, and they moved it to Mojave due to low water level at Mead 3 years ago. The first year, fishing was really good, in my opinion. Second year, it was quite tough. And then this year, it was back to being good again. And it's so funny because it's held roughly at the same time, but you know, it just depends on the type of weather that you're having, all different water conditions, stuff like that. And I think everyone after practice was saying, oh man, it's about like that first year. Fishing's really good. Everyone was excited, but you know, more people were dialed in. The first year fishing was good, but not everyone had kind of figured things out before the tournament started. So it was really, really good for the guys that did. You know, 3 years later, guys have made the adjustments, figured out what they have to do to catch those fish. And we all knew the lake was going to get absolutely hammered with pressure. And, you know, for the folks that are watching the lake, it's a big lake, but I mean, the lake is like 70 miles long, but it fishes quite small. It's a fairly narrow lake with only one really big wide section. And other than that, it's kind of like a river lake. And, you know, the sections that are good, they get hit and they get hammered. And I think everyone knew by the end of the week, it was going to get really tough. I thought I had enough stuff to get me through. I really did. I had a really good practice, and the first 2 days of the tournament went pretty well. After the first day, I was sitting in fourth. I had like 20.7 the first day of smallies. Second day, I held on to fourth. I had a 19.4, something like that. So 20 pounds a day is kind of the goal going in on that lake. And I had it the first 2 days, but Bryant Smith was absolutely crushing it. I mean, I said it in a post that I made, but you know, he closed the door. He started the tournament with 22 pounds, and he had the door pretty much, you know, he didn't have the door open at that point, right? Second day, catches another 22 pounds. He had a lock on it. And then all he had to do the third day was catch, you know, even 18 or 19. It was going to be really difficult for anyone to catch him. And he caught like almost another 22. He caught over 20 again. So, you know, in the grand scheme of things, he really dominated the tournament. But I faltered big time the third day. I thought I had enough stuff going to where I could continue running my stuff. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that before, but like you feel like you have such a good deal going that your stuff is, you get so stuck on it, you know, that you kind of close, your mind gets closed on the final day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, if it's not something I've caught them on or pre-fished on, or if it's not my stuff, I can't fish it on the final day. I've got enough of my own stuff. And I didn't fish with a real open mind the last day. I stuck to with what I had been doing. And I failed big time on that last day.
So are you saying are you saying you just got too narrow-minded in regards to not trying something different, or you're saying on that last day running your stuff, you didn't want to impede on anybody else?
No, it definitely wasn't that, because I was in fourth. So,
right.
You know how it is, man. If you got a pretty good chance to win, I don't think you don't have too much of a concern about, guys are understanding, right? Like you pull into an area,
you got a shot,
and they see you, like they're going to let you fish where you want to fish. But no, I really thought that, like, hey man, if I keep running all these same places and waypoints that have been so good to me all week, eventually it's going to work out. And it just never did. Right. And the lake was fishing small, and it was, a lot of my stuff, the lake was, a lot of my stuff was on the south end of the lake, and it was getting absolutely hammered that final day. The whole field fishes all the days. So you had 175 boats, and there were some guys that probably didn't want to run way up lake that didn't have a chance to even get paid. So there were extra guys fishing in the section of the lake that I had fished. But again, that's on me. I'm the one that decided to fish down there. I could have, I could have planned differently, but no, I mean, it's funny, you fish for a long time, and you still have to get hit in the head sometimes during the tournament and realize, wow, that was a flaw in your game plan. But yeah, I think I had the late weigh in. I had a long day, and I just thought, man, eventually it's going to pan out. And it just never did that day. So all good. I had a shot to win. It didn't pan out, but man, anytime you go into a tournament with a shot to win the last day is cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Would you, if you had the choice, would you change that day 3, everyone being able to fish, or do you like that fact that everyone fishes 3 days?
Yeah, it's so hard to say that I would change anything about that tournament because it's so successful. Like, people love fishing that tournament. It's got a lot of unique rules and little unique things about it. And that's part of what makes it tough. So like, dude, when you are in fourth going into the last day, yeah, it'd be great to only have 10 guys out there. But realistically, that's not the case most often, right? There's 165 other dudes that probably want to be fishing, and it's a gambler's tournament. Like, and one cool thing about it too is there's actually stuff to fish for every guy every day. So you could literally be going out on the final day in dead last and know that every day they give the top 5 biggest fish get big fish checks per day and big bag of the day check. So you could literally not catch a bass the first 2 days and then go out and have a banner final day and at least pay your entry fee back. So, it's a cool tournament, and that's part of it, dude. If they made it easy to win, it wouldn't be the same. So, the dude that's going out with a chance to win the last day is like, oh man, all these guys are all over my spots. But at the same time, all those dudes, like, I mean, that might be you the next year, and you're happy you got a shot to get out there and fish that last day that next year. So I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, it's super cool, and I still to this day try to understand the whole intertwining of co-anglers, how like their weight actually can assist you. Am I correct?
Yeah,
like,
it's a shared weight format. Yep.
Yeah. Bryant Smith's story. If you haven't seen that, we shared the clip this morning, but the catfish story. I don't know if
I got to see it. No, I haven't seen it.
I'll have to send it to you after, but to the gist for the folks, not to leave everybody hanging here, but essentially he'd hooked a big catfish in the event and saw that there was 2 4-pound smallmouth with the catfish. And he went to his co-angler. He was like, throw right here, like pitch up here. And he goes, oh, I got one. He goes, is it a good one? And he just dumped the catfish on the deck and scooped the guy's smallmouth. It was he said it was like a 4-pound smallmouth. And he's like, yeah, we were high-fiving. The catfish was celebrating. Everybody was having a good time.
That's amazing. I'm blown away that those bass were with the catfish. I Definitely gonna have to remember that next year. That's wild, dude.
Yeah, it was a little nugget he gave away. I was surprised. But we love Bryant for that fact. He'll give the juice away. But
He doesn't
the way
hold back.
I look at it, almost when he said that, it reminded me of like how smallmouth will be with carp sometimes. And like Andy, that's right up your alley. Like full
Carp,
well.
sheephead. I mean, the catfish stuff resonates big. We caught one on Myers Reef a couple years ago up here in Buffalo, and literally next cast, like I could see him on Mega Live, and 4 smallmouth just appeared on a boulder that we pulled the catfish out of. We caught all 4 of them, like literally 30 seconds later. They're just curious, like what the heck is going on and why is that big thing getting moved? So they have to show up. Like it's just smallmouth. They're dumb. They're awesome too, but they're dumb.
It's very interesting. I don't want to hijack this conversation, but
Let's do it.
It's a real neat nugget, right? Like, do bass hang out with carp? Do bass hang out with catfish? Obviously, some fish are more predator fish than others, right? And the small and it's a question like largemouth versus smallmouth there, right? Like, I could see smallmouth, at Mojave. I don't know. There aren't a million fish in there to begin with, so it kind of makes sense there for sure. It makes sense in your case, Handy. Out here, we do like a lot of for largemouth. We do a lot of vertical jigging in the wintertime. The fish go really deep, and we do a lot of vertical jigging. We've got giant flathead in these lakes. I'm not talking like a 7 or 8 pound catfish, but like a 30 or 35, 40 pound flathead. They're really cool fish, and they're predators, but you'll be spooning, and I've seen this a million times. This is, I take this to my grave. This is true every time. You'll be catching fish. It's the spoon bite you've been waiting to get on all day, right? You look all day, and you finally are on them, and you're catching one every drop. They've been biting for 20 minutes. You've caught 20 or 30 bass already, and you hook a flathead. You hook that giant flathead, and every single time it's over. You catch that flathead and you will not catch another bass. And I don't know if it's because it takes so long to fight it that the school just kind of the feeding frenzy stops, or if they're truly like, oh crap, there's a fish that could eat me, and he was sitting under me the whole time on the bottom. I'm going to get out of here.
I could definitely see that being the case.
I don't know which one of the two it is, but it's funny, dude, because like you catch that flathead and it's over, dude. And it's we've done it 100 times.
See, I like when we try to humanize animals like fish, I could see like a largemouth thinking exactly what you're saying, whereas a smallmouth in that situation was like, hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no doubt.
The only time I see the smallmouth disappear around here is when a muskie shows up. Like you're catching them cast after cast, and one of those big muskie come through, and all of a sudden the smallmouth will disperse because they know that they're just like a Hershey's bar. So like they're done on that thing.
Yeah. We thankfully we don't have those out here, but I think anything would be afraid of a muskie. That makes sense.
Yeah. I know this is definitely not the case, but what I love to picture, like when we talk about smallmouth hanging with catfish and carp and these different species, is that, you guys ever seen those videos like in the zoo? Like they'll have they'll have the wolf exhibit, but they'll have a golden retriever in there, or like a golden retriever with like a cheetah, where it's like their buddy, like to help them like train or something like that. Whereas like the golden retriever probably thinks he's a wolf, or probably thinks they're a cheetah, or I think the smallmouth, they just think they're a catfish. They're just hanging out. I love this, like add some character to these fish. But maybe that's just the child in me. But
they're the best, man. That is crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, dude, so while we wait here for Luke's to join as well, we'll start getting into a little bit what we wanted to talk about tonight. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, we have a question here from Matt Boyd. He's asking for not knowing much about the Western lakes. He goes, did you want to predominantly go after smallmouth, or will you go find a few largemouth to mix in?
That's a cool question. Every lake out here is different. That one lake in particular, going in 100% that you can win on all smallmouth. I mean, it's been there 3 times. It's been won on 15 smallmouth every single time. So going into Mojave, I definitely knew that you needed smallmouth. Now, the lake below it in the chain, Havasu, it's got some great smallmouth in it, but you almost can't quite pull off a win on all smallmouth. I've never seen a major tournament won on all smallmouth. I mean, I've personally had top fives doing it, but you need a couple of those. You need to catch that 6-pound largemouth or a couple of those 5-pound largemouth at least one of the days to bump your weight up from 17 a day to 19 a day. Mojave's got the smallies, so in that one, you could go all in, and it's nice to know that. It's hard, man. It's hard to go into a tournament having to do multiple different things like that. So it surely is nice to know that, hey, set your goal on this. If I can figure this out and accomplish this, I know what I need to do to win.
Yeah, that makes sense. It definitely. I'm in the same boat, obviously, with Matt. I've never fished.
Yeah, smallmouth and largemouth in New York, every tournament.
Right. And I mean, if you look back, even the past 5 years, that's shifted, right? I mean, that's all changed.
So do you think the smallmouth are a much bigger factor now?
I think so, big time. I mean, Andy, feel free to disagree here, but
without a doubt on almost every lake, if you don't at least mix in one or two or know how to target them, like you're not doing well anymore.
We've seen that big on the Finger Lakes, especially now with the rise, obviously, of tech, but definitely seen that becoming more and more of a thing around later in the year, whereas it used to be weights would go down a little bit, but your top 1 to 3 spots would all have a big bag of largemouth, where now it's like top 7 to 8 have good bags, but it's because they have brown ones mixed in.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that on the Finger Lakes. Champlain's a great example, right? Ticonderoga used to be a much bigger deal than it is now. But yeah, even on the Finger Lakes, huh?
Yeah, at least we've noticed that. But we got Justin Lucas here, ready to pop in. Let's get him in here. Lucas, what's going on, man?
What's up? How you guys doing? Do I need to turn my phone sideways?
You're good. However is good for you, man. Works for us.
What's up, Bertrand?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. How about you?
Good. I was talking to Justin a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I was texting while I was driving. Not good.
Well,
irresponsible.
You're lucky you're not Adam Deacon, because he would have gotten pulled over. But that's
I don't know if they know the story.
joke. Yeah, that's an inside joke.
Story. So quick, we can't just not tell a story quick. So it's super fast. But essentially, long story short, we had a fantasy fishing show. Adam Deacon, one of the co-hosts on the Serious Angler Network, popped in while he was driving, and he got pulled over on the show live. So we make a joke every time. Every time he's driving, he has to pop in the show. Yeah, that's all right. A little Serious Angler inside joke. But Justin, we mentioned we were going to pry a little bit, but you're on the road. Is there anything you're able to tell us about for trip-wise?
Going to a team series for MLF out in Texas. Nice. Early Texas is the town. Of course, we have no idea where we're fishing, and it's way out there. It's like pretty much almost to Arizona.
What hotel are you at, bro? Looks decent. Looks like you're in a suite.
It's a Courtyard by Marriott. Not bad. Got those points building up, dude. So we're stepping it up from Motel 6 to Courtyard Marriott now.
All right. No bed bugs.
No bed bugs. Well, you never know. We'll check here in a minute.
After stories I've heard you tell, Bertrand, of some of the hotel motel nightmares you guys have down there in the Southwest and the West Coast, I wouldn't be surprised in the least.
Yeah. Justin's got a few good ones himself. I don't know if I've got any good ones like in the last couple of years. We do Airbnbs most of the time. Like hotels are like for the team series and stuff like that. But yeah, trying to think real quick if there's been any crazy. I don't think we've had anything crazy, and we're getting old and soft apparently.
Airbnb is changing the game for you guys a little bit.
I mean, we've had some crazy Airbnbs, but not lately.
Do you think Justin? When you're younger and you're trying to make it, you're staying in some more sketchy places that cause some of those stories to happen, so
you just don't know any better, right?
Yeah, we're halfway through our career, we've probably stepped it up a little bit, so we're not having as many bed bugs anymore.
You've seen what's what. You know what's
yeah. I've got some crazy hotel stories, but we don't need to get into those. Some of them are they're pretty crazy, pretty weird.
We can save those for another time.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious though, because I really enjoyed the team series that MLF has going on. But I'm curious from your guys' POV, from normal BPT schedule to different cup and team series stuff that you got doing. What do you guys get more excited for?
You started, Justin. I've been talking the whole time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, dude, I still get excited for BPT events more than I will say this: BPT events just feel a lot more serious. I've only fished one cup event so far, or a team event that's cup style, but they're just really fun, dude. They're laid back. I fished with Nick Hatfield in the first one, and it was a great time. Everybody there was just like chilling, happy to be there. Nobody's all stressed out or anything, so they're really fun. It's a nice way to like cruise into the off season. You know, they're cool, dude. I'm really excited about this one. I get to fish with Brent Ayler. Of course, Josh, I'm sure looked up to him growing up out west too.
Yeah.
I did a lot. So I actually picked him, but I'm just gonna let him run the boat and pick all the spots and run the trolling motor because I just want to sit back and learn from Ayler. You know, to me, he's one of the best to ever do it, and I'm super fired up about this one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like regionality, and obviously that could be a huge player in it, but I feel like the three of you guys, from a fan perspective, fish very similar.
Probably, yeah, I would agree. Ayler's he's like a really quietly good power fisherman.
Yeah.
He can finesse fish, obviously, very well, but he can throw a crankbait and a chatterbait, probably, darn near as good as anybody. And that's why I picked him for this, for an event too, because you don't get to practice for these events. They typically are always one on the bank, just power fishing. And man, Ayler's really good at that. So, like I said, I just want to sit back and let him do his thing and just learn. I feel like I'm going to be a co-angler again. It's been 15 years since I've been one, but I'm kind of excited about it. I wish they would let me fish off the back of the boat, to be honest, but they tell everybody you got to get in the front of the boat.
Yep. I'll say this: enjoy. Put your feet up as you're running down the lake and just soak it all in.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Dude.
There's nothing better than when I'm guiding and Bailey drives my boat, and I'm like, "Oh, this is nice." So have fun.
The only problem for me when I was a co-angler, I would always fall asleep when I was riding passengers. So
I'm guilty.
hopefully that doesn't happen. But I fell asleep on even tournament days riding down the lake. I don't know what it is about riding passenger in a bass boat, but it knocks me out.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, that dude is a dangerous co-angler. Like you might be absolutely lethal with Brent running the boat. Like Justin had made a huge name for himself before he even fished a single tournament as a pro. So, yeah, dude, I'm going to watch. I'll be curious to just see how Brent picks the spots, but dude, how you attack it from the back, man. I'm fishing with Adrian next month, and I'm kind of on the same thought process as you, but like it is such a different deal. Like I remember fishing a tournament with Clifford Perch, a local tournament with Perch, a long time ago, 10 years ago. And we had such a tough time because we were both kind of wanted to be the alpha dog in the boat. And we were stepping all over each other. It was a night tournament all night. And we were literally knocking each other's fish off with the net. We ended up like it was fun. And I loved the opportunity to fish with him, but it was also a disaster. So I'm going to be needing some tips from you after this on how you guys did it.
You just got to, I'm with you on the alpha just got to put my alpha status aside and just give that up for a while. And, dude, I just want to go back to that co-angler mentality, like trying to pick one off that they might have left. Cause I feel like Ayler is going to be a straight up vacuum cleaner up there.
Freaking Brent Ayler, dude.
I know. I've had a bunch of friends that drew him back in the co-angler days, and they all sucked every time anybody drew him because he left nothing behind. So I just want to try and pick off what I can back there and help out the team however I can. But I got a feeling he's pretty fired up, man. He's good in Texas. It's so far west, it's probably closer to desert style fishing than true Texas fishing, if I was to guess. I mean, we're like an hour and a half maybe from Abilene or something, or 2 hours. Like we're in the middle of nowhere.
Dang.
Not that far from OH, but Texas is so big, I don't think we're going to OH. Like it's out of the 60-mile radius.
I'll be curious. I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, especially seeing you guys in the same boat. But yeah, I love when you say that, where it's like the vacuum cleaner deal. Like it's one of those guys where you might as well, if you're a code, not even bring rods, just bring a notepad. Take notes, soak it all in.
Every time when I was a co-angler, I would pray for drawing no-name guys.
Really?
If you drew those guys like a Brent Ayler, you knew your chances. You just knew your chances were slim to none. And I always just wanted the guy that, he'd make a cast here and then he'd pass up 20 feet and make another one, and he would leave so much open water. That was the dream co-angler. That's why I always get cracked up when guys are like, man, I had a terrible draw. I'm like, well, who'd you draw? And they're like, oh, just some guy that, doesn't know what he's. I'm like, dude, that's the best draw. Like, you don't want to draw a guy that you know his name if you're a co-angler. If you know his name, it's going to be a problem for you.
I mean, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn. Donating.
Yeah,
donating to learn.
You're going to have a tough time.
That's awesome. So I love to throw it back, this past season, 2024 for you guys, and pitch it to both of you. We asked, we had Cooper Gallant on last week. And one of the things we really wanted to ask you guys is, like, you guys are at the top of the sport. You're the pro anglers. Like, you guys are the ones that are really, leading the charge in regards to educating, that next generation of anglers. So I love to ask, like, and Josh, you even mentioned it too, like the U.S. Open. Looking back, you learned from that last day.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see, like, looking back on the season, what was the biggest learning lesson for you guys from 2024? And Josh, we'll start with you, man.
Yeah, I mean, that was my 12th season, and man, I probably learned as much last season as any other season. It's crazy. It was a really tough season for me. I fished through a lot of the year with kind of like a broken level of confidence, and I think that was the biggest thing for me. Rather than, every tournament you learn little things, right? But if you don't have that centered level of confidence and, that mentality that you were going to catch them, you're not going to, right? So like, it's every single year you fish, you pick up little things, right? And I remember when I started, I thought I knew everything, right? Like my first year on tour, I didn't realize there was so much to learn. So every year I become a better fisherman, no doubt. But the biggest thing I learned this year was fishing with confidence, right? And, the confidence, it's real easy to say. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to fish confidently this week. You've got to earn it through going out there and having a good event or having a good day or whatever. But, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, man, I can tell you I'm a way better fisherman than I was when I started. But I had my worst year ever last year, and it all boils down to that, So going into next year, of course, that's going to be a big focus and goal for me. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if I'm able to, actually be able to fish like that. But that was the biggest thing I took away from it. Was like, it don't matter how much you know. If you don't think you're going to catch a fish on the next cast, you're not going to.
Is that something where you go home or you go to a fishery where you're going to catch the crap out of them and you just get the brain right and just beat some sense
sure
yourself?
Yeah, that helps. And I've done that in the past. You have one or two tournaments, in the past, 2 bad tournaments had been a slump for me. So I go home and do that. Right. And, I fished a lot at home this fall, and that was a big part of it, was just to try to have some good events, feel good. The last 3 events I fished, were fairly good. So, hopefully I've got, a little bit of momentum. But yeah, I think that was my biggest takeaway right there. All the little things, the mechanical things, trying to stay up with the new technologies and stuff like that's so important. Right. And, working on that. But I mean, for me, it came down to like one of the most fundamental things. And, that's still, no matter how much you learn, it's still very, very important and can't be overlooked.
Yeah. That's well stated. Justin, what about you, man?
Dude, I would just say for the thing I learned the most this year is how much forward-facing sonar plays a role at every single event, even when you think it's not going to. That's what blew my mind, because one that really sticks out is the Chowan River. I just thought, man, if you took anything on the schedule from last year, I'm like that's the one place where you're not going to need forward facing sonar. Like it's sure, it's definitely not going to be one with that. When you look at it on a map, it's just nothing but backwaters and cypress trees and swamp. And sure enough, that event, I think the top three guys, Connell, Wheeler, and Drew Gill, maybe top 3 out of 4 were all scoping, and that just blew my mind. It really did. So I think I just learned how much how much of a factor it is, even when you think it isn't. And now of course with our rules changing next year and only being able to use it for one period, you still can't just write it off ever. It's going to play at every event. So, and that's here to stay now. So, but I like our little system, that we have going on next year with 2 periods without it and 1 with it. I think that's going to make for some really interesting strategy and storytelling at each event, each day, really,
Yeah, and that was one thing I was really excited to ask you guys about is, your guys' POV on that change. And I'm sure you've been asked a bunch of times, so I apologize if this is really repetitive, but I really haven't really seen too many BPT guys speak on the change. But at least from a fan perspective, I'm really excited. I think it was the best change across each tour. Was you're going to get the best of everything. You're going to see, if you want to watch a guy use forward, you're going to be able to watch that. If you want to see a guy not using it, you're going to have 2 periods to watch him not use it. So it's one where I'm excited to see exactly what you just stated, Justin, where it's going to throw some different wrenches in, at least from where we're sitting. You're going to have quite a diverse TV to watch for the BPT next year.
Dude, it's going to be crazy because you're going to have guys that they might be on a really good scoping bite, but it might not be till the afternoon. And in the mornings, they might be up throwing topwater down the bank to try and take advantage of that and save this, where they could start with the scope, but then the next 2 periods they're screwed. So the first period, they might try and take advantage of like a shallow early bite and save the scope. But then did somebody fish already where they wanted to go scope and use the scope? So there's going to be a lot of dynamic stuff going on with that. And I mean, I'm kind of glad to see all 3 tours have separated themselves in this way now. I think that's probably a good thing. Well, I think it's probably as best a scenario as we can be in right now. I still think one ultimate tour would be, the best, but for what it is now, I think it's a good format. I think MLF did a good job. I think it's going to be really interesting on the tackle warehouse events, the day they're allowed to use it compared to the day they're not, seeing how big of a weight difference there is on those days. And it's going to be good. It's going to be, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be good for TV. I think it's going to be good for the sport next year. I think it'll be a good thing.
Yeah, I know like advanced bass stats, and then people that like Stephen Barden who do a great job with MLF and with the conservation side. I'm sure these different changes right now from a data standpoint and research are going to be really cool to analyze when you look at the end of 2025. But
yeah, they're going to be crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think you hit the nail on the head in regards to, I think it's a good thing that all the trails are different, because I think looking at the sport of professional bass fishing, especially live bass fishing, I think for the future, this is best case scenario, because we're going to see 3 different case studies of what do people actually want to see.
Yeah.
So you got the whole spectrum going on right now. And I think as from a fan, it's a great standpoint, because now you get to pick what the hell you want to watch.
For sure.
It's great. But Josh, what about you, man?
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. Like, nothing tells the story like tournament fishing, right? Like the invention of live tournament fishing, it exposed so much from techniques and stuff like that. But you really want to know how healthy a fishery is, anything like that, a tournament will tell you, right? Like those are a bunch of good fishermen going out there and fishing as hard as they can. So it'll tell us a lot on this topic too. But I'm like Justin. I think it's really good. I think it's gonna, from an angler standpoint, man, as if there wasn't enough strategy involved in this format already. Like, there's a whole nother thing to be thinking about. Like, and I talked about it. You fish a 5-fish tournament for your whole life, and you know how to handle every situation. Something comes up, done this a million times. I know how to handle this. I know when to conserve this or when to do that. When we started fishing Every Fish Counts, you would every tournament be presented with like a scenario that you never saw before. And it's like, well, how can I handle this? I can't really ask anybody because no one else fished this before. So we talk to each other. It's like, how would you deal with this? How would you deal with that? But this is another one that's like, no one can tell you how to go approach your day or how to plan the tournament. And a lot of folks are asking that. Well, you just use it the first period. I don't know. We'll see how pre-fish goes, right? And we'll see how you feel. Every single day is totally different. So yeah. I'm really excited about that. Every guy's gonna it's gonna be really fun, man. I think you're of course gonna see when you've got that live scope turned on, it's definitely a big benefit. Helps you catch more fish. There's no doubt about that. I don't know if this off season, if I'm gonna turn it off a little bit and practice like that, or if I'm just gonna wing it the first tournament and it'll be turned off for the first time in 6 or 7 years on my boat for a couple hours during that tournament. We'll see, but I'm excited for it for sure. And I'm really glad that they let us keep it for at least a period and at least for practice. It's a big part of fishing now. A lot of us have invested a lot of time and money into using it, and I love it. It helps you catch more fish, helps you understand what is going on that fishery at the time out there. So I'm really thankful that we still get to use it some.
Yeah. And to add on to your point, Josh, one thing that still resonates with me when we talk about this tech in the future of bass fishing was Rick Clunn's episode on Mercer's podcast, where he talked about, he thinks that now the best angler you have to have forward facing in the mix to find who the best is, whether it's with it or without it. Obviously that can be debated, but I just found that, at least coming from Rick, to be a very, very interesting point. And I think we're going to see that obviously full fledged with your guys' format next year.
It's a skill, man. It's a skill. And so it is. It's part of a skill of a tournament bass angler.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I imagine is very frustrating for you guys from an MLF standpoint was when you guys talk about the changes, where Josh, you mentioned like the format when you guys went over to all fish counts and then you went back to 5, where it's like, I think it was like one of the first videos you posted, Justin, the second season of VPT for you guys, where you're like, I feel like I'm starting to get this down pat, this format. You could tell you were getting more confident, and it's like another change where I hope now it just stays consistent. That goes for all the trails.
We do too. We hope it stays the same too, dude.
Yeah. I think as a fan perspective across the board, we're just like, everybody just stay for a couple of years. Just put.
We feel the same way.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you guys are living in it, but even from like my biggest thing, when we talk about the future of the sport, is if you're getting into bass fishing, whether it's you're growing up into it, you're young, or maybe you're in your 20s and you just want to start it as a hobby and you see this live tournament bass fishing. If you keep changing the rule, it's hard for somebody to really resonate what's going on and then keep up with it. You know, that's the one thing I look at more than anything is, obviously you guys are the best of the best. So like you'll change with the changes, but it has a higher impacts than just than you guys too. But it's gonna be fun to watch you guys. I mean, obviously it's gonna be very stressful for you guys in the point of trying to adjust with strategy, but it's gonna be fun for us at least to watch. But I guess with that, go ahead, Justin.
You don't know how I got Josh knows about this Garmin watch that I got here. But I got this thing last year. You talk about stress in tournaments. My practice days, I'll burn like, I don't know, 2,100 calories, right? They're just chill days. This thing, it does everything but set off a fire alarm during tournament days. It just goes crazy with my stress level. My heart rate will be on a practice day like 80 to 90. And in a whole tournament day, all 8 hours, it's anywhere from like 90 to 120. Crazy.
Oh my, that's so good.
And I'll burn, whatever it says I'm burning 3,000 calories, but like I'll burn like, another 1,000 calories or 1,200, 1,500 calories on top of just an average day. So
in a shorter day of fishing too, that's incredible.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's how stressful. Like, especially our format when you just keep getting these updates and stuff. It's probably not good long term health wise fishing MLF, but
when you fish a 5-fish tournament, the day feels like it lasts forever.
It'd be
It's
hilarious
great.
if I went to the doctor and the doctor's like, "Yeah, you probably just need to go back to 5 fish. This is pretty." That's what they prescribed me, dude. Prescribed me a 5 fish limit.
Is there somewhere in the contract you can get out on a health reasons you can
Health exemption.
Dude. But I'm sure 5 fish is. I haven't. Yeah, I did fish 5 fish, and it was probably still pretty elevated. I think I just get too amped up sometimes, anyways.
I mean, it makes sense though, right? I mean, your brain's engaged for 8-9 hours straight. You know,
Mega engaged, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not surprising in that regard. Where in practice, you know, you're probably I'm sure as I've seen some other anglers, you know, calls with the wife or friends talking or whatever it might be, you know,
Idling around,
yeah,
just chilling. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a rock. I'll hit that on game day along with 83 other rocks. So,
Are you guys
yeah,
both
it's
like
a little
that? Where you
different.
spend most of your time behind the wheel for practice?
I think it varies a lot per fishery. You know, there's tournaments you go in knowing that, yeah, I need to do a ton of this. But yeah, there's tournaments where you don't idle around nearly as much. How about you, Justin?
Yeah, I think it just depends on the place for sure. Some places you just feel like you're idling the whole time, and then another place you just got to put your head down and fish a lot more, like James River or Chowan River or something like that. So
Justin's way better than me about sticking fish. You know, I talked to him. He's very good about not sticking fish in practice. He's got a good memory. I mean, I can't tell you how many times he'll tell me, dude, yeah, I shook this one bite off of this log and, I remembered it. It was like 5 minutes left in the tournament. I ran over there to that log where I shook that one bite off and I caught it and it was a 7-pounder. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, how did you remember that?
that is
You a little trigger happy, Josh?
I mean, I don't think bad, but compared to him, I definitely seem like I get too antsy and I stick too many fish in practice. Yeah. I was good last week.
Shake
About
so
it.
many
fish, right?
I shake so many off in practice it lowers my confidence until the tournament starts.
That's why your heart rate's elevated. All right,
dude. I start telling myself like maybe that wasn't a bass, maybe it was something else. Like
we have to
I did
change
catch
the
some. I
notepad
did
from
shake
Dr.
off some
Scribe.
flounder at the Chowan River that I thought were definitely bass. Went
Flounder.
back there and caught flounder, dude. So you don't know. That's the only problem with shaking fish off. Like you don't know for sure that it's a bass, but hopefully if you get enough. But by the end of practice, I'm like, dang, dude. I hope that works out. And I start thinking, if it doesn't, that was a bad move. But
It works out.
Most of the time, it probably works out for the better to not catch them.
All right, you got to bring out the scribe. 5 fish limit for Justin, plus stick 1 or 2 during practice.
I'm gonna get on like a telehealth thing after this and get it going, dude.
It's gonna be a new
Dr.
thing. Dr.
Andy.
WebMD
Don't call me. Call the wife. She's the therapist, so I can't help you.
That's
I
fine.
like catching fish too much.
Yeah.
Well, I want to remember. I want to say it was either Tyler Rivette or Justin Hamner on the show. He was talking about that. He was I want to say it was Sabine, and they said that in practice, he wasn't setting the hook on fish, and he went back to this one spot. And he was having these monster blowups way back. He was like an hour plus ride. I think it was Hamner. Because he said he went there in tournament day. He's super excited. He went to the house. He's like, I'm gonna win this dang tournament. And he goes back all the way to the spot, and they're all redfish. So he just ruined his whole day because it took so long to get there, and it was like every fish was a redfish. When you mentioned that the flounder, that's what that reminded me of. But
yeah.
With that for next year's schedule, what are your takes on it? I mean, it looks quite diverse in regards to different fisheries and especially times of year you guys are going to.
I think it's a good schedule, dude. I think the one I'm actually most excited about, which I normally try and tell myself to never get excited about something because the ones you always seem to get excited about, you suck in. But the Smith Mountain Heavy Hitters one is that's pretty cool. I'm probably more excited about that than the Gunnersville for Red Crest, honestly. But there's some good ones on there. I mean, Murray, Pretty Spawn, Potomac River for the first time for Major League. So I like it. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I think overall it's good. every tournament is going to be cool in its own way. I mean, I've focused so much on that first one that, looking beyond that too much, I haven't done a ton of, but I'll be stoked to get back on Kentucky Lake. I know it'll be a lot different than the last time we were there, but that was such a historical bass fishing lake, and it's been probably 7 years since we were out there. So that'll be cool. It's a good, solid schedule. I mean, there aren't like any on there where it's like, oh my God, I've never even heard of that place, which they've done a good job of having one or two of those like every year. But it's a very solid schedule, and I don't think there'll be any stinkers in there. I think they'll all be good tournaments. Murray's going to be eye-popping for sure, I think, with just the amount of quality fish that come in. And then we'll see that last one, at Saginaw Bay with last time we went, it was 5 fish limit. Now it's every fish counts.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be wondering, can you go smallmouth fishing? Do you have to largemouth fish? That's going to be that's the last term of the year. There's going to be some major gambles being made, and a lot of guys are going to have their seasons in the balance there. So that'll be quite interesting because it's very hard there. I tried it last time to go and do both in one tournament. It's dang near impossible. So that's quite the tournament to end the season on. We talked about like that US Open where, I just have to catch smallmouth or a tournament where, you have to do one or the other. That one, you're taking a guess and you're hoping it's the right guess, because there's no going back once you make that decision.
Yeah, that's very well said. And I'm not the greatest bass historian, but I haven't seen Nickajack on there on any AAA or pro level tournament. And
that'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you guys, was it back in FLW at all?
I don't think so, dude. I don't think maybe Bassmaster back in the day.
We fished the Bassmaster Bass Fest at Chickamauga in 2014, and they had a second chance qualifier. If you missed the cut, you could go to Nickajack, and the top like 5 or 10 from Nickajack made it back in the cut. And then the guys that made the cut worked the expo that day. Well, your boy missed the cut and went down to Nickajack, and then got pounded on Nickajack too, dude. So,
oh man,
yeah, I've got experience there, but hopefully, I'll learn a little bit more about it this next time we come around, because I did no research on it or anything. I just showed up down there, got pounded, and then left.
Oh man,
happens.
So, yeah, Justin, you mentioned Red Crest for this year at Gunnersville, and I noticed April instead of a March Red Crest. You guys like that? It's a little bit later now, outside of that March time frame.
I think it's going to be cool that it shouldn't be a scope deal at all. It should be just straight up fishing. There's so many fish in that lake right now. And typically the first week of April, like we're going there, is the biggest spawn time. So it should be really good, dude. There should be a lot of fish caught. I don't know how good the weights will be. Every time you think like, man, this is about to be really good, it's so hard to catch 20 to 30 scoreable fish in a day, no matter how good a place is. So I hate to jump the gun and say it's going to be something like that, but it'll be a really good event. Guys will spread out all over the lake. You could literally, in April at Lake Gunnersville, you could launch the boat in any creek in the lake and put the trolling motor down and start catching bass. So that'll be a good fun event, and it'll be nice. It'll be kind of cool to have a championship that's more spawn related than pre-spawn.
Yeah, that's awesome.
At least it won't be one. It shouldn't be one jerk baiting a bridge or something.
It's true, dude.
So that's a win to me. I refuse to fish bridges at Gunnersville.
Ever since you had that guy throw the crappie jig at you, right? Wasn't that at Gunnersville, dude?
Oh yeah, that's right. He did cast his crappie jig right at me.
Yeah.
Wait,
you weren't welcome
he owned
there.
the whole entire bridge.
Was this on live television?
No.
He was just a bridge troll.
He was just mad that somebody else was fishing his bridge, and it was like one of the main bridges. But whatever.
Super juice.
Yeah.
That's when we hear people from up on Cayuga, when they're out of town, they're like, "Oh, dude, I got this juice spot. They're loaded here. No one knows about it, and it's the railroad bridge up north." I'm like, "Come on."
Yeah.
Yeah, biggest community hole in the entire state. But yeah, I feel you there. But Andy, do you got anything else for these guys before we let them go?
No, I don't think so at this moment.
Yeah, I think
How's
you're
the
trying to get your
buffalo
voice back.
fishing right now?
It's stingy. It's very
Is it?
stingy. Yeah, they're there. They're where they're supposed to be. And I was telling Josh offline, you catch one and the entire school gets smart instantly. So you got to move to the next spot. You throw in their first cast, you catch one. But I
Why
mean,
are they doing that?
oh, the water temp started to drop, and then we had so we'll have like 80-degree days in a row with highs, and then it'll be like 50 for a day, and then back to 75, and water temps all over the place. It's super clear, still
Gotcha.
warm, but I mean, guys are catching them like 23, 24 to like 28 pounds a day. It's just you're working for them.
Sounds real stingy, Andy.
Yeah.
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 That
Got
sucks,
two
dude.
almost 7-pounders in the boat in the last week and
that's
a half.
tough, dude.
Yeah.
Here I am frogging at Gunnersville praying for 18 or 19 pounds. And you're just
You guys are living my
wailing.
everyday pain of I'm at my desk all day, and Andy's like, dude, it was tough. You know, clients, we only had 30 fish, we only had 25 pounds.
Yeah.
It was really a hard day. I'm exhausted. I'm sitting like, dude, I don't even want to
Like I've been on this weird roll this year where if I catch a giant, I can't put anything together with it. And then I'll go back the next day and run the same pattern. I'll catch like 28 pounds with no giant. So it's been a weird summer.
Sounds like 5 giants to me.
5 and a half.
Jeez, dude.
28, no giants. Yeah, whatever.
Spoiled.
Yeah.
Get out there 150 times a year. I should know where at least a couple good ones live.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, gents, first of all, thank you guys. I know it's been a bit since we both had you both on the show, but appreciate you taking the time out. And obviously, Justin, good luck and looking forward to the team series here. But you guys know, the show, we can't let you guys go without a fun question. So the one we spun it around a little bit for you because it's been a bit since we've had you on the show. And so it's around the team series. Actually, if you guys could have a team of you and then 3 other folks, it's a pro angler. Doesn't have to be PPT. It could be any pro angler right now. A pro athlete and a celebrity. What 3 would you guys pick?
Jeez, dude. Could have used that question ahead of time.
No,
You guys know
never.
us. We don't give you any prep. You know, we're horrible like that.
You want to go first, Josh?
No, dude.
Any angler and a celebrity, and then what was the other one?
Here, we can go by category, all right? We'll go back and forth. That way it's a little
All
bit
right.
easier. So one
Yeah.
pro angler. It could be any series right now.
I got to take Wheeler. How could you not take Wheeler?
I got to say, dude, from a fan, that'd be a really fun live boat to watch. You and Wheeler.
I mean, dude's unbelievable.
I mean,
him
you
or
want to talk about 2 alphas in a boat.
Whether someone likes the guy or not, what he's done the last 4 years is insane. 5
yeah.
years, whatever it is.
I just mean going back to, you're talking about 2 alphas in a boat trying to run the trolling motor. That would be fun to watch.
I'd kick Wheeler. I'd make him go fish co-angler.
Yeah.
Like, this is my boat, Wheeler. This is how we do it when you're 7th in the points, not 1st.
That's funny. Josh, what about you, man?
Yeah, I would say I would take, again, from a learning perspective, and my instant thought was Van Dam, right? Like, I mean, just because it'd be so cool to fish with them and stuff. But I'd love to get on the boat with one of these young super scopers to watch them fish a little bit too, you know. So I'd take Drew Gill, man. I'd like to watch that guy fish and scope around for a day for sure. I know I could learn some stuff from him. So it's probably not what everyone expected with the first pick, but I'd like to fish with him big time.
I like that. No, I mean,
That's not a bad pick.
He's setting a great
Not a bad
reputation
pick
for
at all.
himself. Super sharp
Yep.
kid, well spoken.
Yep, he's awesome.
Yeah. All right, so now it's pro athlete. You got to pick a pro athlete to fish with you.
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna go Ricky Fowler.
Oh,
I
okay.
just think he'd be cool to hang out with on the boat.
Golf guy, eh?
Yeah, he'd be chill.
All right, Josh.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
pretty
Hi,
cool.
Josh.
Dude, you know, through the MLF, a deal. I've fished with a few baseball players already. There's so many baseball players that are like really good fishermen. One that's really good is Corbin Burns. He's a pitcher for the Orioles. He's won the Cy Young before. He's extremely legit. So I would take either Corbin Burns or Jace Peterson. He's another baseball player that I fished with for a few times. Super. If we're trying to win a tournament here, I'm taking one of those two guys.
Are we trying to win, or is this just trying to be cool?
Whichever. I mean, I assume the angler side, you guys were going to go for a win, but you can make the athlete and celeb, whichever one you want.
Well, I picked to win.
If I'm trying to win, I got to go Tom Brady just for mental coach on the boat.
Yeah.
He
probably
the most
would.
Legit mental coach ever on the boat.
Dude, he'd catch a 10-pounder for his first bass.
Like, hey, bro, this is how you throw a drop shot, Tom, and then 7-pounder, 9-pounder.
Perfection.
You start raking them in.
Yep.
Awesome. But you and the crew, Josh, you guys have guided a few Diamondback guys, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, I fish with a handful of current dudes, and they're good fishermen. Like, it's not like, okay, you got to take care of this guy and hold his hand. It's like, here's a Chapo, you know what to do with it, and you burn down the bank. Like, they're good, dude. So
the best trips.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome for sure.
Heck yeah.
I feel like those dudes play baseball just so they can go fishing.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. They're so coordinated and stuff. They're all good casters, but I don't know, dude. I bet there's 20, 30, 40 dudes in the MLB right now that can fish.
Like, and really fish.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Every team's got one.
All right. Last category, and that's just celebrity. Can be anybody. They don't even have to be fishy.
My buddy Todd Klein took Selena Gomez fishing last year.
I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, I swear, dude. She booked it. It was her dad's birthday, or maybe her grandpa's birthday, and she came with her sister and her grandpa. Yeah, pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she posted about it, but didn't tag him. It was so. Yeah, I mean, she's got like 100 million followers or something like that. Oh, yeah. But pretty cool. Pretty cool. He said it was a great day.
Like, can you please tag me?
Yeah, exactly.
It must have been a compliment to him, though. His SEO must be great on Google if she found him for guide service.
No kidding. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
celebrity.
I can only think of who I wouldn't take, and that right now is P. Diddy, dude. Definitely wouldn't take P. Diddy. He ain't coming on my boat.
Oh, that was the greatest answer ever.
I mean, other than that,
keep the bait fuel away from that guy.
Dude, to be honest with you, I'd probably go Trump. Why not? If I could take Donald Trump fishing, come on.
Hey, he's been everywhere now, dude. I mean,
he would
serving fries at McDonald's, and then he can hop on my boat and bring a Big Mac, dude. We're good.
Yeah. You're ready.
He'd probably do it.
Well, shoot, it was Vance that was just fishing now. So
I would take him too.
They seem like fishy folks.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, he's one that interviewed Trump, but I put Theo. I mix these two names up, Trump. But put Theo Vaughn in my boat, dude. He likes to fish. He's so funny. He could keep it light, and he'd have his line in the water.
Dude, you say his name. So if you guys have never watched the show Hot Ones, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't watched it, you got to watch Hot Ones with dude Josh. When you get off of here, watch Hot Ones with Theo Vaughn. Just type in Hot Ones Theo Vaughn on YouTube.
Okay.
Hilarious, dude. It's a show where they have to eat wings and they get hotter and hotter and hotter as it goes. And the guy's interviewing him why he's getting these hot wings. And that dude is freaking he's unbelievable.
He's so funny.
Dude, it's when he's eating hot wings and getting choked up, it's even funnier.
That's amazing. It is so good. Be prepared. Like, you better have like a good 2 hours free, because you're gonna go down the Hot Ones rabbit hole after you watch.
Oh, really? You know about this, Bailey?
It's hilarious.
Okay.
My wife and I are big fans.
I watched every single one from St. Lawrence River to Gunnersville. 18 hours worth.
That's a crazy way to entertain yourself. That's hilarious. It must be good.
Great, but the Theo Vaughn one and Theo Vaughn and Vince Vaughn were the two best ones.
Vince Vaughn was good too. Yeah,
I was a big fan of the recent one they did with Ryan Reynolds and
dude, that was funny. Yeah, Hugh Jackman,
Wolverine.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Josh, you got to get on this train, dude.
I'm on it, dude. Yeah. We'll watch tonight.
Heck yeah.
Hilarious. Dude, Chantel would love it. It'd be great. You guys be watching.
That's great. I can't wait.
It is worth the watch. It's very entertaining. But I don't know whoever came up with that genius idea. Like, hey, let's get some really famous people and burn their mouths with hot wings and just make them
destroy their stomach and everything else for a few days.
I'm reading the comments.
Imagine the legal that goes along with that show.
Yeah.
It says Michael Brantley said Bobby Lee pooped himself on hot ones.
I'm not even surprised. I don't know if I've seen that one. I didn't realize Bobby was on that.
Oh,
that's good. Well, dudes, thank you guys so much for taking the time out. It's been fun to kick back, talk fishing, but also have a little fun with you guys. And here we go. Hot ones with pro anglers. Yeah, we'll bring that on.
We need to do that. That'd be legit.
We could
imagine, some of the guys. Yeah, I can't even imagine. Wesley Strader, someone like that.
Do it the night before tournaments, dude.
Oh my god!
This segment's sponsored by Dude Wipes.
Yeah,
Dude Wipes for sure.
Oh my gosh!
Well, guys, before we go down another tangent that'll take another hour, I want to let you guys go, but I appreciate the time.
Good luck in Texas.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
thank you, guys. We'll see you later.
See you, boys. There you have it, folks. Mr. Justin Lucas and Josh Bertrand. Always a good time with these dudes. And dude, it is. They're not kidding though. Like, if you guys have not watched Hot Ones, I hate to keep going down on this, but it is literally the Hot Ones is such a good show. Whoever had that idea is incredible.
Mercer standing, when he goes up to trucks on like the old ESPN show and like Mercer's like 30-second questions. He's just
Russian
like,
roulette, there you go. Pitch him the idea. I'm sure Dave would be all about that.
Great way to ruin a morning.
Hey, all I'm saying is I'm thinking if we get the house for the classic, and we get to some of the anglers that aren't competing in it,
some like
we
hot
could
barbecue,
have in-person Hot Ones, and just literally run through like 30 pros. That would be. I'm just throwing it out there to the fishing universe. That would be a great show hosted by James Watson.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
That would break the internet. I feel like in my mind, it'd be genius. But it's so good. But seriously, thanks to Josh and Justin for hopping on. It's been a little bit since we've had both of them on the show, but such great dudes, and I really love picking their brains on stuff because one, they think about the sport, I feel like, in a very unique way. They were praising Ayler, and I feel like they have that same mindset as Ayler. At least from a fan perspective, their approach to it, I think, is very similar. And that's why, from Ayler, Polnick, Justin, Josh, you can throw a few more guys in there. Just from a fan, there's some of the guys that I study on the daily and learn from, where anytime I see their names pop up, I'm listening. And I really cherish every time I get to see him at ICAST and Classic and things like that, where I get to, converse in person. And it's really good getting him on the show. Really would love to have him on more. But cool to hear their strategy for next year, especially with the changes and opinions on all that. And I hope you guys did too. Let us know down in the comments what your favorite part of tonight was. Was it with the Hot Ones? Was it the strategy talk? Definitely intrigued about what you guys think there. But a couple things too for you, that we actually missed in the introduction is Omnia is running quite a bit of sales right now. They're running 20% off of all jig heads. They're running, I think, the 20 or 15% off of soft paddle tail swim baits, as well as I think it's 15% off of one other thing. I'll actually pull up here to fact check myself, but it's down in the description that you guys can go and take advantage of. You'll see it all down there. You can go and save on all those, but also be able to use our code if you guys want to buy anything else from Omnia Fishing. Now is the time to get some savings in, get in any of that tackle that you can, it's getting that window where you can start buying tackle and get away with the excuse of Black Friday sales. We're almost getting to that window. So if your wife, checks your receipt or whatever, your husband checks your receipt and you're like, oh, hey, you've been spending some money on fishing. Oh, it's Black Friday sale. Don't worry about it.
It happens.
Now's the time to take advantage of that, but be on the lookout because granted, we always have discounts year round for our amazing partners like Hobie Eyewear, especially Omnia, of course. And now
every week is Black
active
Friday.
Suspension. If you're looking to really improve your truck and being able to improve your towing, take advantage of the discount and the link down below to Road Active Suspension. But now's time it's almost Fisherman's Christmas here soon, Andy. Not like Christmas where everybody gets $50 to Cabela's, but I'm talking about like actual Christmas where it's 75% off of this bait, Omnia. So
But isn't it every time you get a package at your porch? Isn't that like the new Christmas morning?
Oh,
Especially
yeah,
when,
but it's
especially
Christmas
when there's
morning.
baits in there that you forgot you ordered. You're like, ooh, what is this?
But yeah, but it's just it's a more expensive Christmas if they're not on sale. That's all.
It's fair.
It's always Christmas when you get new stuff. But
why I
Matt
use
Boyd
serious
says
time.
Omnia Pro with the waypoints did help me out a lot for my Arkansas Kayak State Championship. Well, attaboy. Congrats on the dub, man. If you guys have not checked out that waypoint feature, I did not realize at first when they launched it how severe and impactful that is. It's crazy, like from being able to transfer it to and from and be able to save the notes, and how when you save it, how it automatically saves that data from the weather in that area. Because I don't know if you guys seen, but Omnia has the weather patterns now, from wind, rain to tornadoes and all that stuff. So it's really impactful. And guys, again, I know you might get sick of us hearing us talk about it, but $50 a year for 10% off on all your tackle orders.
And 10% back.
Special price discounts that are only applied to pro members on top of all those mapping layers. Like those mapping layers are alone are like $100 a year type of deal if you're buying like from Onyx Hunt type of stuff. So it's like, I don't know, it's worth taking advantage of if you're somewhat serious about fishing. It's very much worth taking advantage of. Hey, use it as a way to give out present to family members or friends. You got fishy friends, family members, gift them an Omnia Pro subscription.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. It's down below in the description. There's actually a link to a full free trial too if you guys want to try it. If you want to try it without actually having to pay for it, if that helps you decide in your decision, feel free to check that out down below. But man, last thing I'll do that I'll plug into here is the links to go help those out in the Carolinas and Tennessee still down in the description. We're going to keep that in there for probably a whole another month, probably till the end of the year, quite frank, because those people are still seriously in heavy need. And I know it's obviously resonated when we had Austin Neary on, but that is those folks are going to be, they're not out of it and they won't be out of it for a long time.
Years.
It sucks to see, but so if you're able to help, by all means, please do. You're able to help with $5 or 100, whatever it is. Appreciate anything. And I know those folks can, reverberate for they feel that, man. It's tough to talk about, but, and I really do appreciate, we're still getting comments from that show and DMs of people saying, hey, I appreciate this is a hard show. I helped out. I bought at Dream Catchers because Austin Neary, it's unfortunate they had to go and for whatever reason defend himself. I didn't think he had to do that, but he tried to pump his business during that show, which sure, yes, he is pumping his business, but his business keeps folks in that community paid because they work for him. So it was a bummer that happened, but we're still getting a lot of comments of people that are helping out and ordering from there, and appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome because it's coming from you guys where we're seeing that feedback, and you guys that are helping out those that are able or that are need to be helped out. So you guys are awesome. Appreciate you. It's all from you guys. And from the show, Andy, I forgot to mention it to Josh and Justin about the swear jar, the forward facing jar. And I didn't want to mention it halfway in the show. Oh, by the way, that's $1. But for folks that might have missed it, I saw Michael Bradley in the comments had even mentioned it too. I did keep track. There was 13 mentions of forward-facing sonar in that show, so we'll put those in. We'll bring from the Serious Angler crew, which brings us up to in the past 2 shows. We are at. See, it was Mr. Cooper Gallant was awesome and put in $30 last week, because he did $10 versus $1, and so we were at 36 last week on top of 13, so that's 49. So we're at 49 for the 2 shows. On top of the, was it 270? I think it was 272 that we sent to Rudd a couple weeks ago, that we had in there. So it's cool to see. I mean, granted, look, $200, $300 is not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but $300 for somebody down there, it probably is helping them immensely.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see at least that going. And the end of October, we'll donate it again. We'll donate all of it back to that same place, and then we'll start it up again. We'll probably run for the same thing to help those folks out for the rest of the year. And then we'll reconvene and see. There's some other places I'd love to help out, with this whole ideation. There's more conservation stuff I want to do as well. But the charity stuff, like Heroes in the Water, is a great one. Andy, that'd be a cool thing if you're ever interested. Heroes in the Water here. We have a great chapter in Genesee County. Essentially, I've done one. I would love to do more. But essentially, they bring a bunch of veterans out that want to just get out in the outdoors. They don't have to fish. They just want to get out in a kayak, get out in a boat, and it's really cool. They get them out there, make a whole day of it, bring food, cook out. It's a really cool deal. It's really meaningful to get out there. It was super fun. The one that I went to, it was actually funny because we're using Mega Live, so there's another $1 there. And I saw a fish. We were out on Hemlock, and I saw some school of fish. And I was like, cast there, and lent a couple people my rods and stuff, and it was cool just to be there. There's like 5 kayaks near me, and everyone's freaking catching fish. But it's a really meaningful event. So Here's on the Water, shout out to them. They're a great crew. I got to meet like their main executive folk, if you will, at ICAST last year, and they're awesome. Great mission over there. Dale Reed says it's a great idea. How do we get money to you? Dale, here's what I'll tell you. So I've been teetering around this idea of if you guys want to help out, you can. I didn't know how to best go about asking you guys. I don't want to ask you guys for money, but if you guys want to participate in the jar thing, by all means. I'm never going to ask you to do that. Do not do it through YouTube or anything. YouTube takes a percentage of that. What I will say is what I can do is I will actually pull up. Let me do it while I'm talking here. But I'm thinking what we'll do is we will put. Actually, you know what? Here's what I'll do, because I think this is the best route to go to help those people. We don't need to have it go direct to the jar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link. I'll do this down in the description, but I'll do it here in the comments for you, Dale. If you'd like to help, is I'm going to send you Alex Rudd's website, because he's been helping. He's been in the trenches with the people that are affected, delivering stuff to them, compiling all this stuff. I will get you this link here in a second if I can find it. Life of me. I think it's just alexruddfishing.com, but let me see. Yeah, here we go. Copy. All right, it should be coming in the comments here. You can go right there, and that donation goes direct to Alex, and he is the one, like I said, helping out those people personally. And he's really good about it. Like, he'll post a receipt of everything they go and buy. Because right now, like, there's so many people right now that are bringing waters down to them, food, things like that. I think I don't want to say they're okay with that. I think they're getting a lot of help that way. I think what they're asking for right now is temperatures are dropping, especially those morning and evening and night temperatures, that they need warm clothing. And that's the biggest thing, because a lot of people don't have anything anymore. Everything was swept away. So like a lot of that money that Alex raised. So Alex and I did a live 2 weeks ago now, I think. It was raised over $8,300. And all of that's going to go to help clothing. And they're going to be able to do more on top of that. But a lot of that helped some kids, families get jackets, hoodies, wool socks, sweatpants, things like that to keep warm, because it gets cold down there, Andy. I would argue it gets colder down there than it does up here.
They just had a blizzard warning a couple days ago up in the mountains, which is unreal to think about. But yeah.
Dude, you know what's crazy to think about too is, I hope this is not too insensitive at this time, but the mapping of that place is going to be completely different. There's got to be like new rivers and everything there now.
Yeah.
Like restructured completely. Because like roads there are now rivers. It's wild, dude. Mother Nature's nuts.
Yeah.
You
can right, like you can hide from the wind, but you can't hide from rain. So, or you can't outrun water, I guess I should say.
Yeah. You can dodge, you can handle wind, you can't dodge water. There's water, if there's a will, there's a way. And there's always a way for water, unfortunately. And it's just yeah. Well, Matt Boyd said it perfect. Mother Nature can be very cruel. Yes, indeed. Well, buddy, you sound like your voice is about to go out any second now.
It sounds like today's actually probably my best day I've had since like Thursday, but we're getting there.
Yeah, folks, Andy thoroughly enjoyed the Amari Cooper Bills debut. Maybe a little bit too much.
It was a good time. I was there. I got to see his first touchdown catch as a Bill. It was awesome.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know why people were trying to give crap to Keon Coleman for potentially showing him what route to run. I think if any case, it's freaking awesome if he didn't know what route to run. I think that just shows him and Josh already got a connection.
Yeah. No, I was like, he knew the play. He just looked over at me and he goes, "You know what to do?" He said, It's always Henry. You know what to do. And then he ran it and he scored a touchdown. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's
So
like,
cool.
yeah, now that makes the Bills offense scary if they can actually put it together, because now they have a true number one. And the craziest part is they lined him up in the slot for that touchdown. So it's like, everyone can play every position.
Well,
So,
and dude, every game Keon keeps showing more and more. Like,
that guy is a tackle breaking machine.
yeah. Well, so he was first couple of weeks, he was dropping passes.
Yeah.
But it was passes that were, or he could have caught them, yes, but they were like ones where another receiver probably wouldn't have even had their hands on it.
Yeah.
Like, it was still impressive, even though he dropped them. Whereas, like, yeah, it wasn't a touchdown. I think it was a bunch of BS that touchdown didn't count. But like, that was an impressive catch that he had that got called back.
I think
he's showing glimpses where he's like, he might not be the fastest guy, but he's gonna catch that damn ball.
Yeah,
he's like, who is it? Who's George Pickett's? Yeah. Great example. Not the fastest dude, but like, for whatever reason, he balled out against the Jets, like grabbing, like finding ways to catch the ball, even like when the guy's hand is in his like face completely.
And that's why they drafted him, right? Like, that's why they want him. They wanted a guy that could go get contested balls. And it feels like over the last like 2 or 3 weeks, they're starting to figure out how to use him. And that's the scary part.
And he's still talking Shakir. Sneaky old Shakir.
Yeah,
Shakir's going to be like that Cole Beasley a couple years ago.
Shakir's got a high ankle sprain. He still caught like five or 7 passes for 65. Shakir's going to get
crazy that if people aren't paying attention to this. I mean, granted, I apologize if it's football talk, but it sounds like there's still a bunch of people here and we're talking football. So apologize, but we're talking a little Bills here. I'm not even a Bills fan, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, but you being Billsy.
Well, yeah, when you watch the Eagles week over week, and they're the most frustrating team in the NFL. Granted, I thoroughly enjoyed trouncing the Giants and watching Saquon just ball out. Nice to finally have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith back. It was finally a satisfying game to watch.
How much longer does the Philadelphia fan base go before they want Sirianni on the fence?
I think after the Browns, if they didn't win against the Browns, he would have been gone. I think this game might have saved him for a while, but if they have the next game or next 1 or 2 that it's close, like too close or a loss, I think he's gone.
Who do they play next?
Bengals.
Who?
Bengals.
They'll beat the Bengals.
I will say the past 2 weeks, though, the defense has not allowed a touchdown. The defense has looked really good.
They'll beat the Bengals. Bengals have no defense.
They finally started making some changes, like actually just allowing the young guys to play. Like they put in DeJean, and he's like, that kid's played lights out.
Bills need to do that more
Mitchell,
too.
Dude, he's the best in the league right now.
Who?
Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
Best in the league by far right now. Dale Reed says your tweets crack me up when the Eagles. Yeah, if you guys want some entertainment and want to make fun of me, just tune into my Twitter during Eagle Sunday or Eagle whatever they're playing, and it's just me literally being mad for 4 hours at the Eagles.
It's funny, like Amanda, when we watch Bills games together, she gets infuriated with me because she's like screaming at the TV. I'm like, Amanda, stop yelling at the TV. She's like, why? I'm like, you have no control over it. If you're gonna let your blood pressure go to 200 over whatever 80 because you're mad about a play you have no control over, she's like, I hate you so much. Like,
see, that's the funny part. So that dynamic is my wife and I, but it flip flops. So when the Bills play, she's the one freaking out, and I'm like, "Look, chill, it's gonna be all right. Like they're good." Eagles cheer when they score. He's the one telling me to chill out.
and if they're playing poorly, I'm like, well, we have no control over it. I'm just gonna keep moving on. So
Dale says I'm a lot older than you. I never thought I'd see a Super Bowl win, so I can die in peace. I don't let it get to me. Got my Nick Foles Super Bowl jersey in the closet.
Listen,
yes, I love that I saw a Super Bowl, but it still stresses me out because I know how good this team is. Because I feel like when you look at the roster, you look at what the Eagles have on paper compared to that Super Bowl team, I'm not saying it's night and day, but it's considerably better. And I don't know, maybe it's different football back then, even though that's what 7, 8 years ago. I don't know. I just look at what that potential has with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard, and you have Jalen in the offensive line that we have. It's like and you have freaking Saquon Barkley. Like, come on.
You're pretty stacked. And plus, you've had a lot of injuries the last few weeks. They'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first week back that A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith were back in the lineup. I know it's a big deal. Lane Johnson being out. So it was a tough watch, but I'm glad they're back at least somewhat in business. I'm completely okay if Saquon wants to just drop 150 yards on every team we play, but also respect to him to not breaking the record on his own team, his former team.
Yeah.
It was a cool deal. He's like, let the young guys ball out. I thought that was pretty respectful of him, and it was cool to see. But back to the Bills quick. I just want to say, if people are watching this team and they're not watching it every week on week, and obviously I am right now just purely because of
I do need to change a narrative real fast. Josh Allen, the turnover machine, has zero interception.
Zero. How?
With less receiver.
Sorry, guys, we're gonna be going for an hour now. Mahomes should not be leaving MVP candidate. He should be at the bottom of the goddamn list right now.
His turnovers are horrible.
And Sam Darnold should be in front of him. Josh Allen should be in front of him. Lamar Jackson
should be the front runner right now.
Saquon should be in front of Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like Mahomes hasn't done anything but turn the ball over. Kareem Hunt is winning these games.
Oh, there's one right here too. You know who another name that you don't see in there and it should be getting close is Jared Goff. That guy's playing unreal.
Okay, he's playing amazing. I don't know if he's MVP worthy because I think the Lions are playing the most total team football right now in the NFL. The Lions are the scariest team in the NFL by far, in my opinion.
Yeah, they got a head coach that'll bite your kneecaps.
Yeah, dude. I was telling Landon and I both agreed the other night when we were watching the Lions play is obviously we want to see the Eagles and the Bills win, of course. Yeah. But if there was another team I wanted to root for, I would root for the Lions. It's hard to not root for them. I can see if you're a Vikings fan or something to not like the Lions.
NFC North is insane.
It's stacked.
It's insane.
It's stacked. It's hard to not root for them because it's got to be the best running back duo in the league for one with Montgomery and Gibbs.
Remember when everyone was like, "Why did you take Gibbs in the first round when you have Montgomery?" And it's like,
that's why.
Because they're at a point where they went talent over need because they didn't have any needs. And when you're in a very special situation, you can just, all right, well, I'm going to take the best guy on the board. Why not?
It's a fun season because I think every week is a wild card. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
No one would have guessed San Fran would have a losing record.
Yeah, but they're playing with half a roster. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's what makes me very happy is the Cowboys really suck.
I saw that coming though. They started to suck last year. Yeah, when the Bills ran for 280 yards on them at home.
Mahomes is the best to touch a football. Okay, look, I'm not sitting here saying that Mahomes sucks, but you have to agree here. There's no way in hell Mahomes should be leading the MVP race. I think Mahomes leading MVP right now is a slap in the face to the best defense in the league, which is the Chiefs defense.
Yeah, that's the only reason
Chiefs
why
defense is the MVP of the league right now. They're only 6-0 because of the Chiefs defense.
Yeah, 100%.
They can't get that ball going. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm very biased, obviously, because I'm not anti Mahomes. I think I'm anti. I don't know. I really don't know how to phrase it. I think it's more like I like seeing new teams win. Where it's kind of like with the Patriots, right? Obviously, you have a different feeling about that being.
Oh, I actually don't hate. I don't hate the Patriots. I envy them. So, and
that's probably what a lot of it is, right? I mean,
you can't hate a team that's just pure dominant over you for years and years and years. When the Bills were the worst, but look what the Bills are doing now, right? They're literally just destroying. Yeah, they're just destroying everyone in the division for what?
Dude, I feel so
6 of 7 years. 6 years in a row. We're going for 6 years in a row right now, basically. So,
yeah, he Mahomes does show up in the big moments. To your point, yeah, I will agree. He does things. Yeah, he's a Cowboys fan. Sorry, bro.
How about them boys?
I like it. I like that you're sticking up for other teams, though. Yeah, Mahomes is easily
Mahomes is unreal. If he had any bit of wide receiver talent, just unreal. He could take Randy Moss right now, right? Like washed up, retired, old man Randy Moss.
Careful saying washed up, man. He fishes. You pay attention to this, and then
he's not washed up. Well, he's retired. He could probably go out there and moss some people with Pat Mahomes right now. Like just put it out there. Like you could put Terrell Owens and Randy Moss on the field with Pat Mahomes, and they're gonna be 6-0. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
he's incredible.
He's one of the few quarterbacks that can make anything happen with anyone on their field, like Tom did. Tom took no-name receivers.
But the silver lining is he throws some really terrible interceptions and doesn't take any heat for it at all.
Yeah, not all over his fault, but like that, you have to agree here too. The interception stat is a jaded stat.
Oh, 100%.
Very 100%. Jaded. A lot of it is on the receivers for the most part. But some of them are pretty bad too. That San Fran game was a horrible display of quarterbacks. Horrible display.
I feel like we talked about it last year with Josh Allen, like at the end of the season. And I went back and watched the 22 film of it. Like, again,
Davis's fault.
Oh, there was other ones too, but like people running wrong routes, under running routes, and the ball sails or he underthrows it. Like,
or he can be like Jalen Hurts and actually throwing a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, when you just blatantly throw it to the other team.
I try to root so hard for Jalen. I like the guy as a person from a fan perspective. I say I don't know him. I can't sit here and say that, but from a fan perspective, it's so easy to love Hurts. But he makes it so hard to root for him sometimes because he just
does. Why do you think he got let go of Alabama, was allowed to leave?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a reason Tua took over.
Got benched halfway through the national championship
because he sucked
by Brian Dable.
Yeah, because he sucked.
Yeah,
but you can't deny that he has some moments though that are great.
Oh yeah,
he plays
him one butt sneaks.
Come on, get out of here. If you go look at him as a passer, he obviously he has slip up. I'm not going to say here and say he is perfect, but he is a much better passer than people give him credit for. I think he's an incredible passer, but when he reads a defense, I think he needs a lot of work.
Yeah,
I'm no football pro here, so please take this with a complete grain of salt because I don't know what I'm talking about. But at least from my perspective, anyway, I think they showed it twice in the Giants where dudes are wide open. 3rd and 3, and Devontae Smith is wide freaking open. And he's looking his direction too. It doesn't see the easy pass and runs out of bounds.
I mean, we had that
wide open for a touchdown and throws it away.
We had that same issue with Josh the last few years. He would just pass up on wide open balls, but you know why? He had a guy on the team that wanted to fight the entire Green Bay Packers and said, "I'm never going to step down because I'm not the bigger person." I'm like, oh, that explains everything, right? Like,
who is that?
Stephon Diggs tried to fight the entire Packers
team.
Yeah. And he said, I'll never step down because I'm not the bigger person. It's like, well, yeah, you just called yourself the problem.
Yeah. You might have just explained the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's an interesting point. So Tech019 says Dak throws a lot too and gets hate for everyone. Dak isn't the best, but isn't the worst either. I'll agree with that.
I'd put Dak around 9 or 10. They just don't have any serviceable weapons anymore besides CD Lamb. Yeah.
I think a year ago, though, to his point here, he says, however, I do think Brady or Mahomes would have actually won a Super Bowl for Dallas. You put last year, 2 years ago, the weapons they had, you put Mahomes or Brady there.
Cooper.
Especially that defense, dude. That defense was lights out.
Or you just fire McCarthy and actually get a real head coach in.
Ooh. Dun, dun, dun.
McCarthy only won a Super Bowl with Green Bay because he had one of the most insane rosters of all time with an Aaron Rodgers who was blossoming.
Yeah. I can't say shit either. Sirianni likely is not the answer either. People keep saying that Kellen Moore, they haven't given him the actual offensive reins. Which I mean, I believe it because they show his offense with the Chargers and Dallas and stuff, and they show his offense the Eagles, and it looks exactly the same as Sirianni's offense last year.
Probably is.
Just give the man the chain. You could hear my house when the Giants were playing, and it was just not. It was actually up in the Adirondacks this past weekend, But I was just constantly yelling, "Feed the man!" And it's because every time you give to Saquon, it's like, "Oh, there's 12 yards. Oh, there's 30 yards. Oh, there's touchdown." It's like,
Yeah,
feed him.
I mean Sirianni's a local boy here in Western New York, but he's I'm not a fan of him, and I think he lost the team honestly.
Sirianni.
When he started
Yeah.
yelling at all the Kansas City fans.
Well, so this is where it's interesting. This is hard when this is why we're just fans, right? This is why we're the outside looking in. Is people judged him a lot for that whole fan interaction this past year, like with his own fans. Apparently somebody on Reddit was the guy he was talking to and said it was no big deal. Like it was actually a good interaction, but some of the players are like, we want him like that. We want him to be that first year, talk shit, be loud, have a personality kind of coach. Whether that's true or not, or they're just standing up for their coach, just being loyal and good teammates. It could be, who knows, right? I mean, they're not going to go out and publicly bash their coach. Yeah, so who knows? But they maybe they do like that energy because it is Philly. You got to remember that Philly is a different breed. Like they like assholes over good guys. It seems like. Well, who knows, man? It's been a weird year. It's a great year to be a football fan because you don't know what's coming next. But hey, shout out to my Oregon Ducks. I'm not gonna get too excited because they're ranked number 1 overall, but
is your QB okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, because I know he took that huge rib shot in the last game.
Yeah, he's all right. You good? Little duct tape. You all right?
Little duck tape. Little duck.
Little duck. The duck is not okay. The duck got trampled. I don't know if you saw that video. The duck got ran over.
Oh my gosh. Dude, it's a weird year in college football. You have Army, Air Force, and Vanderbilt all in the top 25, along with Indiana. Like,
yeah.
what
dude,
the hell is
Army
going
Navy
on?
game is gonna be freaking
lit.
Nuts, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's Army Navy, not Army Air Force. But I think Air Force is like right on the outside looking in. Like they're good too.
They're all doing well. It's cool to see.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, I was really surprised at how much
triple option is coming back, baby.
It's a hard year to be a Bama fan. I'll tell you that. Holy smokes! You beat Georgia, lose to Vandy, lose to Tennessee, and it's just
Georgia blows out Texas.
Yeah,
like, it's just SEC football.
It's gonna be interesting. The Ohio State gives me some faith that Ducks could compete with SEC, but it also is scary when you look at Georgia versus Oregon. I don't know how that game would go. I really don't know.
Speed kills.
Speed does kill. I mean, Oregon receivers have to be the best in college football right now.
Yeah,
in my personal opinion.
I gotta look more into it.
I don't know. Any other? We're about to wrap this thing up, but any other college football people that have watched the Ducks? I just don't know if any of the. Well, anybody that says that Jonty isn't winning Heisman's nuts. He breaks all that. Was it Barry Sanders records?
Dude, that guy's unreal.
Nuts.
Unreal.
Yeah. I mean, Dale's point here. Yeah, Oregon's got the best coach, I think, right now. Dan Lanning, he's the America's favorite right now. Everybody loves him.
It's good.
Packing dips and outsmarting coaches.
He's ducking coaches. Nice.
Out ducking coaches. Jonathan says Travis Hunter. Dude, I don't get me wrong. I think Travis Hunter is unbelievable. Does he deserve Heisman though? I don't know, dude. Jonty almost beat the Ducks by himself. I don't know. Again, this is why we're just two dudes from Buffalo sitting here talking football, and we have no say in the matter. But I don't know. It's also Colorado. I'm not on the hype train anymore for Colorado. I liked what they were doing, but not a believer anymore. But all right, dude. You got anything else for the people before we wrap this sucker up?
I will say, if you want to come fishing, you better book your spring date now because I'm almost booked. So,
yeah. Some all I'll say is some things will shake up in 2025, and I will buy you wings if you come up to Buffalo for a guide trip with Indy. If you book through this show, you get a wings dinner date on me. Well, me and Andy will take you out some wings and a beer.
Fun. There's some good.
Maybe we'll even get you on one of the live show. Maybe we'll do a live show with beer and wings if they come up and they book a trip through you from the podcast. We'll throw that in there too.
I feel like we need to like do some type of special thing around this.
I'm all about it. Yeah. If you guys book trips through the podcast, this is where you learned it from. We gotta be curious because somebody might try to get some free wings and beer trips if they don't schedule through the podcast.
I'd say it has to be a new client too. Those who have already come can't just dip in on this.
Yeah. We'll still take you to Wings and Beer, but you buy your own damn wing.
right. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Either way, if you're interested in the guy trip and you learn about it through the podcast, do let us know because we'll figure something out. But folks, we do have I'm really excited for 2025. And I know I say that a lot, but we got some stuff coming. Stuff is in the works that I'm really excited about. And hopefully here in the next couple weeks, we'll be able to share it with you guys. Man, appreciate y'all. Great show tonight. Thank you again to Mr. Justin Lucas and Josh Bertrand. You guys are awesome. Again, for our MP3 folk, if you can, help us out big time. If you can leave us a rating and review. If you're on YouTube here, please like and subscribe to this video and the channel. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one.